Alright guys, so here we are, week 6, and this week has been a little bit of a challenging week for the build. Unfortunately for me, it's been half-term week, and what that means for anybody outside of the UK, it basically means that all the kids in the local area are off school for at least a week. So all the guys that are looking after and running Escape from Oz at Pontefract, which is directly below what we're building now, we're a little unkeen about me hammering and cutting and braying the building while people are there trying to have a great time, which is totally understandable. So it's been a little bit challenging, had to be a little bit quiet, but let's see what we got up to this week. Well, here we are, and I thought it was about high time that I did something about this floor, because I'll be totally straight with you, I have nearly fallen through that floor more times than you can shake a stick at it. So I knew I had to be a little bit careful on what sort of projects I wanted to do this week because of the amount of guests that we had coming to play Escape from Oz, which is downstairs. And I thought it was a good time to tackle a small project in the build, which is sort out this bit of floor. Well, anyway, it just, as always, it just started to gather up momentum, and before you know it, it turns into a bigger job than you expected. So what I'm doing here is I'm using some 18mm chipboard flooring, basically cutting it down to size. I'm not replacing the entire floor. I'm cutting it down to size and getting it so that it's going to pretty much lock into where we've got. I already had a bit of this on site, so nice and handy. But as you'll see a little bit later on, as the job develops into more and more of a job, then you start having to get a little bit creative and thinking, what would MacGyver do? And find other materials that's going to do a job and fill gaps and things like that. Nice and easy stuff to use, just locks together, nice and simple. If you can, chuck a bit of glue down the actual tongue of it, and that'll keep it even better than just screwing it down like I am. But this part of the flooring, in the grand scheme of things, is actually going to be covered up by quite a large counter. But we'll get to that in a couple of weeks' time. You might notice that I'm putting it down and then I'm having a look, see how flush it is. Unfortunately, the people that put down the flooring that's already in there use 22mm, and I've got 18mm, so it's obviously a little bit of a difference, and that's why I'm putting some packers underneath the floor itself. As far as jobs go, it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do. And steady away. Not too loud, apart from the cutting the flooring down to size. You'll notice that I'm not just using flooring, I'm also using 18mm OSB boards as well, which I already had some in stock. Okay. And this is where we start going down the rabbit hole. So we knew about the massive gaping hole in the floor that's going to be in the final room, and I've always known about the floor in the corridor being a little bit squeaky and not so great. You'll notice as I'm pulling up the floorboards to have a look, see what it's like, it's not happy news underneath there, unfortunately. So needed to sort it, needed to get on with it. So forgive me if you notice that there's a couple of bits in this that I didn't actually film. I do apologise. I was a little bit annoyed at the time and just wanted to crack on. it seems pretty much anybody who's done any sort of work on this building has cut up a different bit of flooring rather than just stick to the same bits as everybody else. So there's not much actual flooring left. So you're just trying to make good with what you've got and work around it. So what I was basically doing here was trying to get a level playing field and trying to get out all the creaky broken bits and splinters and all the rest of it, so that I can crack on and just get some sort of boarding down. Now this whole corridor area, as we're looking at it at the moment, is actually going to be overboarded as well anyway. That was always a plan, because for some of it is going to be a lino, and for the other part of it is going to be part of the tunnel itself. So while I'm getting on with this delightful job of finding out how bad the flooring is, we've had a few people asking us why we are filming and releasing what it is that we're actually doing. What are we doing it for? Well, to be perfectly honest, we have that many people that ask us, how do we come up with the rooms? How do we come up with the ideas? How do we build them? Who builds them? Do we do them ourselves? All these sorts of questions. And we must get, I don't know, out of all the guests that we have when I'm around at any of the locations, we'll probably get, I don't know, 10 to 15 different people that will ask every week, you know, so who's it that makes them? How do we come up with stuff? So we just thought it'd be easier, rather than just trying to explain to people how they come about and all that sort of stuff. We just thought it'd be easier to, right, let's get a couple of cameras, let's get in the room and on the next build, and we'll just show you how pretty much it starts to come together. The first thing for us is always going to be what theme is it that we want to work on, and I mean that's so subjective. Everybody wants to do a different thing. Everybody's into different things, and everybody thinks a different thing's going to be really, really popular. For ourselves, first off, when it's a new venue, we think, right, okay, what's going to appeal to a wider audience? Probably families, probably kids, but also resonate with the parents and the older generations as well. Something they can relate to. Here I am just trying to make some of the old floorboards something like level with each other, and also the new board that I'm putting in there. So coming back to it, we look at that sort of thing. What's going to have a wider appeal to start with? And then once we've got that first room in a location, then we start looking at something that's maybe a little bit more niche, maybe a little bit, you've got to be kind of into that sort of a thing. Like over at our Hull location, we've got a room called Impact, and that's on board a spaceship. So that one is a little bit more niche. We get a lot of people saying, oh yeah, I'm not really into sci-fi, that's not really the game for me. And the answer is always the same. It's always the same, and the answer is, well, if you're not into sci-fi, that's fine. This is just an escape room in space, okay? You don't need to be a full-blown Trekkie or able to talk Klingon or whatever to be able to get on in the game. You don't need any prior knowledge. And we try and keep prior knowledge out of all our games. And basically that's things that people already know before they play the game that they carry in there with them. So basically what I'm cracking on with here is I'm cracking on with trying to fill in the void that's in the corridor where there is a very large like files list, or lift should I say, that basically goes all the way through the building. And it was about now that the plasterboard chose violence and started attacking me. So we had to basically cover up the lift. It wasn't possible to get it out. It's already embedded in the game downstairs, which is Escape from Oz. It's not part of the game. It's basically, it's all blocked in so that you can't see it. We don't want somebody to see it going into the game in this one, because they'll start to get ideas of, oh, there's going to be a lift, or we have to go down there, and we don't want to upset people. We don't want to give them false hope of some sort of crazy finale to it. So I'll do my usual weekly disclaimer. Just remember that I am not some sort of joiner or plasterer or electrician or plumber or anything like that. So don't do what I do. I strongly suggest that if you're going to play around with plasterboard like I am here, wear some sort of mask. It'll stop you coughing up dust and things like that for the next hour and a half. And maybe affect you longer than that. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, don't always do exactly what I'm doing, and get some advice, or maybe get an expert in. So this was pretty much it for the week. This is all I managed to get done without it impacting on the guests that we had with us. But I don't think it was too bad. We had to do it at some point anyway, so it was good to get it out of the way. Anyway, I'll hand you back over to me. Well, thank you very much for watching this far. If you've managed to get this far, I really do appreciate it. And if you can, give us a like and subscribe, one of them little thumbs up. And if you can, drop us a comment. Tell us what I'm doing wrong. Tell us what I could be doing better. And tell us what you want to know. And we'll get back to every single person like we always do. But I really do appreciate everybody watching. Next week, we're back to normal. Let's get after it. Thanks for watching. Bye.